last question about SAA, actually. Quite a lot, but we've got a lot to get through. And the question I have for you is that in August, the DA said that the SAA is engaged in potentially uncompetitive practices. The Competition Board says there's not enough evidence to investigate. Isn't it better to just let them investigate and then just calm everybody's fears?
I am not the Competition Commission. I don't serve on it. I don't influence it. And neither do I agree with the view that SAA is involved in anti-competitive behavior. SAA is owned by the state. And the state, as the shareholder, has not only a duty but the right to support its companies. We have provided such support to Eskom, for example, when they needed the guarantee in order to implement the current bill program. What is at stake here is not so much that SAA is involved in anti-competitive behavior, but it's the contestation of the very notion that the state must be involved in the economy. We assert in the ruling party that yes, the state not only has a right, but the duty to get involved in the economy, in certain sectors of the economy, to correct market failures. And companies such as SAA assist us to achieve exactly that. Even as we speak, SAA already flies directly to Beijing, directly to Sao Paulo, directly to Mumbai, 3 of the 4 IPSA countries. It plays an important role in supporting revenue in the country in a variety of ways, through tax, through airport charges, and others. We believe that the airline plays an important role in supporting our tourism strategy. It's important for a government of a country far away from global markets to be able to ensure the security of air travel into and out of the country. And you know, our skies are liberalized, but that doesn't mean that the state need not play any role, because it starts with SAA. The next thing that will be questioned is all other state-owned companies. We wish to affirm very firmly and emphatically that the state has a right to play a role in the economy. We will continue to play that role.
All right. So is there ever a point at which you might say, okay, it's time to privatize?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I mean, we are not involved in this. Maybe let me say, the question shouldn't be that. At this stage, we are playing a role in the sectors in which we are playing a role for absolutely pragmatic reasons. We have taken a view as the ruling party that our involvement as the state in the economy will depend on the balance of evidence. At this present moment, the balance of evidence is in favor of government owning an airline, government running the infrastructure companies in order to correct market failures, government being involved in a number of economic fields. And we are even looking at expanding the role of the state, even in the mining sector, in supporting the industrialization agenda of the country. And so at the present moment, all countries, developing countries that aspire to be developmental, had to do what we are doing. In actual fact, what our government should be accused of is not being more involved, not being more systematic in how it plays that role, because the growth and development of the South African economy needs an active and strong state.
Okay, and great argument that you make, but I guess that the crux of the matter will be, do you have the skills and the right people to do those jobs?
Absolutely we do. There are great skills in our state-owned companies. There are great skills in South Africa, including in the private sector in South Africa. We continue to be able to draw from the private sector. Many of our state-owned companies are employers of choice. They are winning awards in competition with their private sector partners. which means that we've got great skills, and we will continue to not only draw from existing skills base, but to also develop our skills base. If you look at the state-owned companies, they are investing heavily in skills development. Over 2 billion rand is going to be invested this year alone by Transnet and Eskom on skills development. If you look at our skills pipeline in the state-owned companies, in my portfolio alone, there were 15,000 learners in our learning academies last year. We are going to add 5,500 in this financial year. That means that we are looking at the issue of skills development so that the Brian Dameses, the Brian Mulifes, the Inatin Changas can be replaced when the time for them to go come.
But let's just calm his nerves. It's not imminent though.
No. I'm saying when their time comes, everybody ultimately will go.
Okay.
There must be people to take over when you leave.
Including Malusi Gigaba.
I'm still moving into the sunset, into the sunrise.
All right, you've mentioned Transnet, you've mentioned Eskom, and these seem to be entities that are making strides forward. We've seen big infrastructure projects being unveiled. And my question is, first of all, let's start with Eskom. The guy at home is saying, yes, well done, we're seeing all this progress, but is it fair to charge 16% plus for electricity?
It's not fair.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It's not fair. It's necessary, though. You know, I think it exists in our ideals. Even if you ask the Eskom executives and the board of Eskom, we wish we did not have to ask for a 16% tariff increase. Eskom wishes they were charging a single-digit tariff to South Africans and corporates. A tariff that our people can easily afford given the difficult economic situation. We've got to be sensitive. The economic situation is biting. But we must balance that with future need. Our ability to ensure security of supply of electricity. This 16% could have been compressed into a higher figure had Eskom continued to pursue a 3-year multi-year price determination. We've decided to spread it across 5 years. And we've said that on the 5th year, we wish to move towards single-digit figures. This is to ensure that we alleviate the burden of having to pay a high figure. We've got to continue to fund our build program. We have not, in this application, even considered the IRP2, which means that there is a new set of build program, the funding model of which still has to be determined by government. But we believe that at this present stage, given the challenges that we have, not emanating from Eskom itself, which cannot be supported. You see, we can't go to the budget and say to the fiscus, foot the bill for the build program, because you're talking enormous figures in a country which also still has to pay for education, for health, and other social services. And so we need to ask South Africans to bear the collective pain, to fund this build program, go through this painful process, and then begin to normalize the situation after this. But the point I was making in my introductory remarks is that we must have a culture of continuously building infrastructure in order to support not current needs, not to address yesterday's underinvestments, but to address future needs.
Okay. All right, so what we're going to do now, we're going to take another quick break, and then when we come back,